still with us on AM today, as we promised that when we return from that break, we'll be taking a look at the topical issue for the day. And today we are looking at politics, Governor Ayedatiwa. And the media to discuss this with us is Mr. Ebenezer Adenio, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor. It's nice to have you, Mr. Ebenezer.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right, let's start like this. Proud to the governor becoming substantive governor of the state. We had issues, moves for impeachment and all that. And at a particular time, too, the press crew for him as the deputy governor then was disbanded. Can you shed light on that period?
Thank you very much. Like you have said, we have a new administration in Ondo State now, and one thing we will not want to do is to continue to look at the past.
Okay.
The journey that got us here was a rough one, but of course, Mr. Governor was able to survive the onslaught from right, left, and center. But today is the governor of everybody. Whether you were for him during the struggle or you were against him during the struggle, is the governor for everybody. And he has said that one of his priorities is to bring everybody together to lead the state. You cannot lead the state if you still maintain fight with those who were against you before you go to the throne. So the governor is the governor for everybody. He wants to bring everybody together. So we would not like to look at the past. We would rather want to look at the future, what this administration means for the people of Ondo State, and what the governor intends to do to build on the legacy of his predecessor. So the war is over. Of course, this is politics. You still have the remnants of the struggle around, but we would like to look forward to new paradigm shift for Ondo State.
Remnant of the struggle, you said. So, I want to know, you said the governor said he wants to be governor of everybody, and there are agitations and concerns in many places as to the roles some that have been members of cabal played in that struggle, or maybe you call it political imbroglio. They are still very much with the governor now in the cabinet. Many are asking, is the governor afraid of dissolving the cabinet? Is he trying to make peace and then continue with the existing structure? You are the spokesperson of the governor. What exactly is the true picture?
Thank you very much. As of today, there is nothing like cabal in Ondo State any longer. The governor is the executive governor of Ondo State. You cannot constitute yourself into a cabal under an executive governor. What we had in the past was because there was no stability in the leadership of the state. The former governor was ill. The deputy governor was unable to take that mantle. That was why you had a situation where a few people held the state to ransom. But today, like I said, we have an executive governor duly sworn in. The governor is not afraid to take any decision. Do not forget, too, that this same cabinet, politics apart, has been together with the former governor since 2017. A lot of them are friends. Of course, politics came in between, and this is mostly motivated by the coming governorship election. So the governor, even if he wants to take a decision, would not rush into taking such decision. What is priority now is to take stock of everything on ground, what he meant on ground, is to look for ways of ending whatever remnants of political right crisis we still have in the state. He's talking to people, he's talking to stakeholders, he's holding meetings. You will recall that early last week he went to meet professionals and leaders who are more or less founding fathers of Ondo State. So Mr. Governor has opened hands of very warm welcome to everybody. Like I said, whether you were against him or for him during the crisis. So Mr. Governor is not
So
afraid
what
to take any
prevents Governor
decision.
Aiyedatiwa from convening an executive council meeting since he took over?
Let me tell you this. Like I said, um, before we started filming, uh, this is a new administration, and unfortunately, it's one that did not have a period of transition.
Okay.
There was no period of planning. It was what happened with the death of our former governor uh, was an emergency. You also recall that Mr. Governor was sworn in that same day. Like I said, for the past 2 weeks, Mr. Governor has been receiving eminent personalities who have come to pay condolence visits to the state. We have a lot of them, former governor, stakeholders, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and that has taken a lot of the chunk of um, the activities of the governor in the last 2 weeks. I can assure you that, and of course, on Friday, Mr. Governor was outside the state, also for issues connecting to the governance of the state. So I can assure you, when the time is right, we all feel the governance in the state.
Now, Prince Adeni, I'd like to know for how long will Ondo State be without a deputy governor?
Also, that is one of the major issues being dealt with by Mr. Governor. Do not also forget, I will repeat, that this was an administration that had no transition. And it's not one, if you did not plan to become governor overnight, there was no way you could have planned to pick a deputy governor overnight. And the governor is less than 2 weeks in office. It's not possible for him to, after a few days, just pick a deputy governor. And do not forget that there are stakeholders that will assist him in taking that decision. And Mr. Governor is also consulting, has consulted wide. I'm sure by now that decision is ready. He's keeping it to his chest, and I'm sure when the time is right, when he's ready to make the decision, he will make the decision.
All right. When the time is right, well, everyone in Ondo State is expecting. But then, talking about governance too, since the incumbent, came into power without some kind of transition, how prepared is he then, to deliver benefits of governance to Ondo State citizens, or is he still overwhelmed by the spontaneity which it came to government?
No, Mr. Governor, don't forget, was deputy governor for 3 years, close to 3 years. He's been a member of that same cabinet that has governed the state during that period. Mr. Governor is well equipped to deliver dividends of democracy to the people of Ondo State. But like I said, because there was no period of transition, there are a lot of things that he has to go through because his predecessor did not hand over to him. And so you have to call all sectors together to brief the governor. You have to do the Treasury Board meeting. You have to take stock of infrastructural projects. You have to take stock of salaries and allowances of workers, pensions, everything. So in the last 2 weeks, while attending to visits from eminent personalities, he has also been attending to files to take stock of what he met on ground, because there was no compendium of handing over given to him. So he has to go through them one sector by sector, ministry by ministry, to take stock of what he met on ground. But I can also assure you that he has his own plans. I'm sure you will ask me questions on that, so let me leave it.
Well, once a journalist is always a journalist. I mean, let's go into the promise of Honorable Loki Orimisan while being sworn in, one thing resonated in his inaugural speech that he will prioritize the welfare of the people, and you will not be able to um, insulate that from infrastructure development. You will not be able to insulate that from the welfare of workers. You will not be able to insulate that from critical sectoral development. Let's start from Akure, the Ondo State capital. Just this morning, I heard many agitations, and cursory look at those agitations seems to have real substance in them. And let me just give you one instance. Look at the bus parks on Obadeshida Road, the stretch like that. These are not maintained at all. And then you find most of them getting so dilapidated, you find them becoming haven to destitute. What will this administration do about that? What will this administration do about getting the streets of Akure clean and well organized to have the aesthetic value of a state capital so properly called?
Thank you very much. I'm happy that you are starting from there, because you also know that I'm a son of the land. Uh, Let me just say that I do not want to preempt or let out of the bag some of the plans before they are executed. But I can assure you that in 3 months' time, Akure, the state capital of Ondo State, will wear a new look.
Including attending to those bus parks that were not
Yes,
maintained
I
all
can
along.
assure you, to the little that I know, Mr. Governor has given a marching order to the Ministry of Environment to take charge of the looks of Akure, the state capital, and major cities in Ondo State as a start. And I'm also aware that the Commissioner for Environment has started taking steps. Don't forget that we had some challenges during the immediate past administration in terms of the logistics and the operations of waste management in Ondo State. Mr. Governor has given a marching order to the Minister of Environment to take charge of the operations of waste management in Ondo State. And there is a new policy that is being developed now on how to deal particularly with the issue of Akure as a state capital. And Mr. Governor said to the commissioner that nobody is happy driving around the streets of Akure the way everywhere looks. So that's why I assure you that in 3 months you will see a new face of Akure, the state capital.
Before I let you leave the issue of the state capital, I also am concerned, like many Nigerians, about the way and manner administrations by administrations come up with projects. For you, did we really need those bus parks that now look like they were useless, quote unquote, just placed there, not being used by any other than traders who now use the place as their alternative market and destitute now living there?
Well, the administration that designed the parks, the bus stops, um, had justification to do that. You are only looking at their usefulness now because they were not put to proper use. And one of those reasons is because we had a situation whereby people had no option other than to go put their waste there. If you do not give the people the receptacles and the bins and whatever you generate public waste, particularly along that corridor of Obadeshida Road, uh, they will have no other option than to put it where they think the waste management authority or those in charge of waste management will evacuate them. And once you start doing that, other areas of nuisance will also come in. You have people who will paste posters, of them. You have people who will put banners there, and so I think it's the abuse of the park that turned them to become useless. But I'm sure by the time it takes charge of the whole thing, they will be put to their proper use.
All right, I'll say we can take that promise to the banks, expecting that the city of Akure is going to wear a new look, a better look, and really have the ambience of the state capital. Well, let's take the discussion a little bit further, considering the the time frame that Mr. Governor has to run to the conclusion of his administration. What are those things that you think you should prioritize, for the citizens?
Well, thank you very much. Mr. Governor has said a few times that one of his priorities will be to complete the projects of his predecessor, and of course, you know he was part of that administration. But he has said that all capital projects embarked upon by former late Arakuni Royalty Makedolu will be completed by his administration. So that's a priority. And also, we have the issue of infrastructure, particularly on road projects. Um, the priority now will not be to embark on big and not sustainable cosmetic projects, but will be to concentrate on little ones that can that the people of Ondo State can feel the impact on time. And I'm aware that currently the Ministry of Infrastructure is working on is compiling uh, roads across the state that can be attended to within the next 3 months. I'm aware that officials of the ministry went around Akure, the state capital, at the weekend on Saturday um, to look at areas where those projects can take place. So, like I said of the environment, in 3 months or so, um, that ministry has a mandate to fix a lot of roads within Akure, the state capital, and major areas in the state for a period of 3 months. So I can assure you that within those 3 months, you get to know the direction of the administration of Honorable Lucky Orimison Ayedatiwa.
Now, let's also take us to look at one of the critical things that happened since the 27th of December 2023. Now, one key issue is the issue of resignation of critical players in the State Executive Council. You have the likes of the Special Advisor on Union Matters and Special Duties. You have the likes of the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, and that one in particular got tongues wagging. That what will happen to the Oyarobilem flyover being constructed, what will happen to some other projects on ground. Some have also said that should have been a way to include the resignation letter, assets and liabilities before resigning. What will the Ayedatiwa administration do to catch up with what exactly was, is, and what is to be done on those critical projects?
Thank you very much. The resignation of a commissioner does not stop the operation of a particular ministry. Do not forget that a commissioner is a political head of a ministry. Um, the civil service, the civil servants run the operations of the ministry, led by the permanent secretary of that ministry. And like I said, Mr. Governor has taken briefs from um, all the ministries to know the level of work, and to know also the completion rate, completion percentage of all the infrastructural projects in the state. Of course, the resignation of a commissioner cannot stop a project that is as massive as the bridge being constructed at Onyarubulem. So I can assure you that that project is ongoing. If you go there, you still see if you drive around Akure, you will still see portals being filled all around. So the exit of the commissioner does not stop the operation of the ministry or the operations of government.
What's the mindset of the governor in terms of this portal filling that his administration seems to be embarking upon almost immediately?
Yes, like I said, that the ministry has a mandate taken from Mr. Governor to fix as many link roads as possible within Akure and some major areas within the next 3 months. So the ministry is continuing with the ones that were ongoing um, during the military administration. What they are doing now, while doing that on one hand, is to compile a list of another. And I'm aware about 20 of those already compiled in Akure, the state capital, and they are doing that also across the state. they have a 3 month target to fill to fix those roads. So I can assure you, in the next 3 months, you will see the results.
All right, as we are expecting to see the results, and we're talking about infrastructural developments, the progress made, and all that, the people of the Southern Senatorial District of the state, where Mr. Governor happens to come from, have been thrown in darkness for a number of years. In fact, running to almost, if not 15 to 20 years, they've been there, and several promises have been made. Should the people of that region of the state, expects some turnaround now that Mr. Governor is there? Would he be considering bringing light back to the Southern Central District?
Thank you very much. The It's a little bit tricky for you to attach developmental projects to the emotions of the governor coming from that particular area. The governor is the governor of all parts of the state, whether it is south or central or north. But I can assure you that even if you live in Akure, even if you are from northern central, you probably have somebody that is experiencing that in the south. We have students who are in Osrc, who are from across the state. So the situation in Ondo South is not just peculiar to Ondo South. We all feel, but of course, those who are resident there feel it more than us. But what I can say as an individual, as a media person, is that the problem with the electricity in the south is being handled the same way the problem with Ayetoro Ocean Surge is being handled. You have a situation where the NDDC is doing its own, the federal government is doing its own, the state government is doing its own, and then you have legislators doing their own. The problem we have is that there's lack of coordination. You see a situation whereby, for instance, on Ayetoro, the House of Assembly will send a delegation there to go take stock. The National Assembly will send a delegation there to go take stock. NDDC will do its own, and then the federal government itself will do, the state government will do, and then you see a situation whereby there will be reports that a contract was given out to handle it by the federal government, and the DC gave out another contract to handle the same project. So what I have seen is that there is lack of coordination on how to tackle some of those challenges. So I'm sure, Mr. Governor, I remember when Mr. Governor spoke at an engagement recently last week, and he mentioned the fact that the road uh, that is being constructed to link Ilaje with Lagos, to link Ondo State with Lagos, that has been more or less abandoned somewhat, which is also a matter of coordination too, because NDDC will say that there's a role that should be played by the state government has not played that role. So Mr. Governor has said that will take special attention, and he also mentioned the Ondo port that was recently approved by the federal government. So I'm sure that Mr. Governor will pay special attention on the issue of electricity in Ondo. I'm aware that a lot is particularly by the NDDC, but I can assure you, Mr. Governor, we take charge when it's time.
The governor of Ondo State, Honorable Lucky Orimisaye, that at every point in time feels the vacuum left by his predecessor, late Arakun Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. And during an engagement with workers on the first work day of the year, he did call for a minute silence and then eulogized the virtues and achievements of Akeredolu SNCN. But tongues came wagging when the body of late Akeredolu came into the country, and then many people went to receive the body. Someone was saying, why will Aiyedatiwa not go receive the body of his predecessor? You are the spokesperson of Aiyedatiwa. What went wrong?
Thank you very much. Nothing went wrong. It was a manufactured crisis. Um, of course, this is season of politics. It's season of election. So expect that people will start cooking up stories just to make the governor look bad. Uh, when the family was to receive that body, the information came to the governor at the time the governor had already left Akure for an official engagement. And when that late notification got to Mr. Governor, uh, he directed the SSG to constitute a committee, a delegation to go receive that body with the family on behalf of the state government. Of course, the SSG was there with a number of commissioners, including the Commissioner for Information, some social advisors, and also officials of the party, APC, led by the chairman of the party. How can you have such delegation at such event and then still claim that the state government was not represented? Those who manufactured, I give you an example. Those who manufactured the crisis wrote that the SSG of Osun State represented the governor of Osun State. But when it got to the SSG of Ondo State, they did not write that the SSG of Ondo State represented the governor of Ondo State. They said some executive members were led by the SSG.
So the
the
governor
place.
directed
So
the SSG
it
to
was
represent
a,
him
it
at
was
that
a,
place.
the governor directed the SSG to constitute a delegation to go there with the family. Do not forget that this was a role of the family. The government was playing um, that alongside the family.
Very well.
It was the family that informed um, the government that the body was coming. But that notification came late at the time that the governor was not in Akure, and he told the SSG to lead the delegation to 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 go with the family. It wasn't the duty of the government to receive the body of the former governor. It was that of the family. So the government was playing a supporting role in doing that. That was why that delegation went there. Do not forget that Mr. Governor does not have a deputy. So if the governor is not available and there is no deputy governor, the next person in line is the SSG. So how can you now come around to say that, oh, even though the SSG was there with commissioners and other top officials of the government, and you still claim that the Ondo State government was not represented because the governor himself was not there? So it was a manufactured crisis just for political gain.
How well does the Aida administration intend to communicate with the people, especially in terms of media engagement, inter-relationship with the people? Because if you agree with me, the legitimacy of any administration is derived from the people. So how does the administration intend to derive its legitimacy, rightly so as enshrined in the Constitution, by communicating with the people? Will it be from foreign land as it used to be the experience, or will the governor make it a priority to communicate with the people right here and in the language they understand? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the governor has shown that by appointing me as his CPS. He has done 5 appointments so far. Of that 5, that is to tell you that Mr. Governor understands the importance of communicating his actions, activities, and direction to the people of Ondo State. And we have spent the last 2 weeks engaging with various sectors of the media because it's important for you to build relationship.
Very well.
I have said that the core structure of my media engagement will be built around media relations. And we've had meetings with almost everybody in the media. I also have 3 lined up for this week. The correspondent Chapel, Nawaj, and Fiban. So we are meeting everybody in the media because we know the role they play in informing the people of what government is doing. So I can assure you that Mr. Governor will not hide anything from the people of Ondo State. If people have questions, let them ask. This is going to be an open administration. This is going to be an administration that will not play politics with the people of Ondo State. Mr. Governor is a very open person. Those who are close to him will tell you, will let you know that he's one that is more or less a mirror of his predecessor when it comes to openness.
Now, if you
So,
permit me to butt into your
yes.
thought, Prince Ebenezer Adeniyi, I like to, with the benefit of hindsight, take you to Osun State. During the administration of Olagunso Yonyilola, there was a program called Labe Odon that was an engagement with the people directly. The people speak the language they could speak. The governor listened to them in their raw formation and then gives responses. And then the administration of Aregbesola did something similar. If you come to those states, it also happened during the Akedu administration, although not regular. How regular, if indeed your principal has the plan, how regular will it be to meet minds with the beyond media engagement, to meet minds with the people? I understand you have a government house grant just opened there. I understand you have media organization owned by the state. I understand there are many platforms the governor could use, but is it ready to engage with the people directly to know where they should pinch us then?
Thank you very much. Do not forget that Mr. Governor has have done two broadcasts, statewide broadcasts already. Um, that is to show you that he intends to engage with the people of Ondo State. Let me also say that OSRC as a station has a role to play in this as a media organization of the state government. I may not be unable, I may be unable to say to speak on the regularity of what Mr. Governor wants to do in terms of um,
Engaging with the
media,
people.
no, not engaging with the people in terms of media program like the one you have just mentioned. Like, don't forget that I said that this is a government that did not have time for transition. So I can assure you that in the next few weeks, we've come up with ideas with on how we think will be the best way for Mr. Governor to engage with the people of Ondo State, in conjunction, of course, with the people at OSRC.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about meeting with core media groups. You mentioned NAWOJ, NUJ, and FIBAN and the likes. But you cannot underestimate the influence of the new media. Those are the people that run the media on social media and all that. And most of the time, they have the tendency of just, throwing what they have online there, and it's everywhere. So are you devising a means, probably to meet with those who you can identify, engage them, so
Thank
to
you very
speak?
much. That we have done already. As a matter of fact, that was, I think, the first set um, of the people that we engaged. So, of course, we know that today social media is a very essential part of media business. So we have engaged those we have identified as playing important roles when it comes to the new media. And like I said, within this week, after which we will present a report to Mr. Governor on how we think it will be best to relate with all the sections of the media. So we are taking that as a very important aspect of our plans.
Okay, now speaking to you as a journalist now,
Yeah.
and as someone who has also on a key position, in AUJ before, the infiltration of this social media, will I call them jungle journalists, so to speak? Do you think now that you are the chief press secretary to Mr. Governor, should there be something to be done in terms of regulating their activities?
Yeah, I think there is an ongoing plan by the federal government through the I think the Federal Ministry of Information and that of Communication to regularize the activities of the new media, especially those who are engaged in news dissemination. Because you find today that anybody with a mobile phone can claim to be a social media journalist or a blog. Anybody can open a blog, maybe um, just open. Anybody can open a website and start publishing news without necessarily having any certification or any background training. Um, so I will also support the idea of regularizing not the social media itself, but the news aspect of it in such a way that people do not deceive the public as represented the news as representing the news media organizations, when in actual fact majority of them are one man inside one room on bedroom just writing stuff and putting it in the public. So I support the idea of regulating that.
Yes.
Prince Ebenezer Adeni, let's come back to the issue of tangibles of governance. I understand that, yes, we've also had a fair share of what local residency could mean, especially during our sojourn at educational institutions like Rufus Polytechnic or the people of that, the workers in that institution are yearning for what this current administration would do to look into their matters. 11-month salary being holds them, and then many other issues crippling that institution. Does Mr. Governor, your principal, has any plan for that institution?
Well, thank you very much. I don't think the problem with the problem with Rufus Polytechnic is not actually peculiar to the school. All our state-owned tertiary institutions have issues, only that some can cope more than the other because of internally generated revenue. I'm aware that Mr. Governor has done more or less a behind the scene intervention with the issue of Rufus Polytechnic. He has met with some of the stakeholders there, even though not officially, just to understand the peculiarity of their own problem as compared to other state-owned institutions. So I can assure you that Mr. Governor is working on at least offering temporary relief in terms of the problems they have in the institution.
Now, well, finally from me, I don't know if Ivan Shadi, but finally from me now. Interestingly, you did mention that you're a son of the soil, and we've been together in this place for very many years now. Now, I understand that while we were growing up, you will remember, we used to go fetch water at the taps being maintained and powered by government. Potable water, we go that, all of that. It seems that is already a thing of the past in those states. You hardly find water. They say water everywhere, but none to bath with or to drink. Now, and this state has a ministry of water resources, public sanitation and hygiene. There was a scheme called Kamomi Aketi. What exactly will happen to provision of potable water to the people? This is dry season. Many people will be wondering, government should come to their aid.
Thank you very much. I think Kamomi Aketi is still a policy or program of government that is still running. At least I know the one at Oshinle is still running. The one that in front of the old water corporation, I think is still running also. Be able to say what Mr. Governor plans to do in terms of building on that on the foundation already laid by his predecessor. But these are some of the issues that we as his ears and eyes in the public will take to him to work on.
All right. That's the discussion with Mr. Ebenezer Adenio.
I hope the CPS will not find you for not calling him Prince.
Oh, great. Okay. Of course, he understands that in journalism we only have Mr. and Mrs. Right?
Of course.
So, when we are offset, then we return to Prince. All right, it's been an engaging one with you, Prince.
With the son of the soil.
With the son of the soil. And yes, you've heightened expectation on better media engagement with Mr. Governor as he progresses in delivering the deliverables to citizens of Ondo State, and we sincerely wish him well as he goes about doing that. Okay, this is about the show, about the size of the show for this morning on AM Today. This is how far we'll be going from Sunday. Was a parting shot.
Well, every administration that will be able to emplace good governance will be depending on feedbacks from the people. Well, let's hope and pray that, as Prince Abin Sardini has said, this administration will be open to criticism, will be open to feedbacks, will be open to constructive criticism. Let me put it that way.
Thank you.
And so, be an active citizen, engage the government, push out issues you want addressed by the administration. That way, you'll be contributing your quota in entrenching and in placing good governance. I thank you for being part of the program this morning. I'm Sunday Kolawale. Enjoy the rest of the day.
All right, boring. They has said that means if you see something, say something so that something can be done about the something that you have said. My name is Folashade Ogidon saying have a wonderful week. Bye.